Hi, welcome to Fluent from Home, where I teach you how to become fluent in English from home, just by yourself by practicing at home. If you're watching this video, I know that you might be struggling with a lot of negative experiences in English, or you might be so stressed when speaking English, or even thinking about the idea of speaking English with someone. You might know a lot of English, or for example, you know a lot of vocabulary, grammar, but when it comes to spoken English, your mind draws blank and you can't say a word or use your knowledge when it comes to speaking. I've been there, I understand that, and today I'm going to address those problems. I'm gonna talk about them. And we all, for example, went to schools where they teach English, but they also make us so passive learners. We just go through textbooks and practice grammar, long lists of vocabulary, but we never can use them in everyday speech. Why? Because those methods are not good for our language learning. If they were good, a lot of people around the world could speak English naturally and fluently. And why they're not able to do that? Because the methods are so bad at schools that they just teach us that English is bad, English is boring, it's complicated, it's negative, it's stressing. And actually, you might have the experience of being corrected by a teacher in front of your classmates. And for example, your classmates might have laughed at you, or you might have been ashamed of yourself or embarrassed in front of everyone. And all these negative feelings and experiences are associated with the idea of language learning and speaking. That's why we normally think negatively, and we actually feel so negatively about English. But I'm here to tell you that these things can be overcome, can be passed, and we can change them by changing our mentality and experience of learning English. And that's the beauty of it, because we can control our minds, we can control our thoughts. I know that when we went to schools or maybe language schools or institutes, they taught us English, learning and memorizing grammar and long lists of vocabulary. And actually, we couldn't use them at all because whenever we, for example, tried to speak in the class, the teacher was there telling us, no, 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 you should have not made that mistake. This is this, not that. You should say that, not this. And we grow so timid. We become so fearful of speaking English, and we say, oh my God, I shouldn't make mistakes. And if I make mistakes, my teacher gives me low grades, or maybe I failed the test or exam. So everything in the school is about tests and scores and everything, and it's really fearful even for the native speakers. But it's not that good to learn English that way, and we all know that. And today in this video, I'm going to talk about the ways that I did it. Although I went through all that problems and negative experiences. When I was in high school, I tried to learn English by textbooks and grammar rules, but I couldn't speak a word. I could pass all the tests, perfectly, get, the highest degree, I mean, the highest score in the class, but I couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't even say, hello, how are you, to my friend or to someone, for example, a foreigner, okay? So I became so bored that I let go of English. I quit, just quit. I didn't continue learning English because it was so boring, and it was like studying. It was not a skill for me to perform, to do. It was just about memorizing and repeating and repeating. It was like, learning mathematics, like memorizing rules. And that was the reason why I learned, and I quit. That's it. I quit and I didn't continue doing it. But after a while, I kind of came to the idea of talking to foreigners because it was really interesting to me. And I wanted to talk to people around the world. Actually, I love it. I love to, get to know other people from other cultures. That's why I did a research and I found some applications. And, I didn't do it, to learn English. I just wanted to see other people around the world. And I found an application, and that was, called Friends Talk. And it was really simple, no beautiful design or something, but there were a lot of people from all over the world, and they would just chat with each other, find each other, add friends, and talk to each other. So I didn't know how to speak English with them, how to even chat with them, but I used Google Translation, and I would translate my language into English and say the things to those people, and they would just reply back, and I would then translate their messages into my language and say another thing, translate it into English, and then give it back to them. And the conversation would go and go and go, although it was really slow, but I learned to, for example, communicate even simplest things in English by just talking to people. It was real English. So whenever I, for example, used one sentence with someone, I would use the same sentence with other people. So it would be natural repetition, and I would deeply learn that phrase and use it the next time. And the more I went ahead, the more I went forward into this activity, the more I learned more phrases and phrases that I could learn in my conversations. For example, at the beginning of this journey, I could only use simple and easy sentences about daily life. For example, how are you? How was your day? And how are you going to do, for example, tonight or tomorrow? But the more we went into the conversation deeper and deeper, the more deeper I could learn sentences from Google Translation, and I would translate those sentences and then say to that person. And when I could get a reaction, for example, the person could reply to that sentence, my brain and my mind understood that those sentences are actually practical, and I could count on them and I could use them again and again in other conversation. And that's why I became more interested in English, because I could get to know other people by just talking to them naturally. And that's perfect. And I'm here to say that back then, there were few applications that you could do that. But nowadays, there are a lot of applications that you could just talk to other people. For example, from experience, I know that Hello Talk is one of them that you can easily find other people and talk to, and you could do the same thing that I did, with your English. You could just find friends, and if you don't know, for example, how to greet them, how to say hi or how are you, just use Google Translate, say in your language how to say, for example, how are you, and then it would translate it into English, and you could paste it or send the sentence to that other person. And just as easy as that, you can get the conversation going. And the more you go into this, the more you get faster. And now you don't need to, for example, use Google Translate all the time, because some of the phrases are going to be repeatedly repeated and used in the conversation. And now you can just use them just by mind, not searching them. That was the thing that I did, and I really learned a lot of things. And now, after a few months, I could use some natural and everyday English without translating my thoughts into English. And I had many friends that I could actually talk to them on WhatsApp, on Telegram, and it was really great, because we were all language learners, and actually the people that I would connect to them were also language learners, so we could interchange ideas and vocabulary, and we could study with each other and learn in real life tasks. So that was the thing that I did. But after that, actually it became a little bit boring to me, so I needed a change into my method. So I found someone on YouTube who would speak naturally in English, and he had a podcast in English. I'm not sure if he's still there or not, but he would tell stories in English, like easy stories in English, and I would listen to them and try shadowing technique, because the way he would speak, it was a little bit slow, and he would pronounce words naturally and slowly. And I said I want to be like him. I want to say whatever he says and become just like him. So whenever he said something, I would pause a little bit and repeat that sentence again. Play another sentence, pause, repeat that again, and I would do this again and again till I, after 1 or 2 months, my pronunciation actually got really good, and I could speak in a way that people could understand me. Actually, they actually complimented my accent, and they said that my pronunciation is really better than a few months ago, and that was really a good thing. And now, compared to all the negative feelings and experiences back in school, the positive experience that I made for myself were replacing all the negative feelings, and now my attitude um, has been changed, and I could think positively about English. Let me tell you something. If you think negatively about something, you can never learn it, or your learning would be too slow to make any progress. So if you, for example, think that you don't like English, you need to change your mentality first. Actually, two factors are really important in language learning. The first is psychology, your mentality, your mindset, the way you think about English. That is really going to affect your learning in a great way. And the second one is the method. But these two are really interconnected, and without each, you cannot get successful. So imagine that you've got a car, okay? The method is your car, but you also need fuel. So, fuel is your psychology, the beliefs about that language. So, if you say, for example, oh, English is so boring, it's hard, it's, I don't know, complicated, I fear it, I'm afraid of it, these beliefs are not going to make your car move. So, first things first, you need to change your beliefs and mentality. And how can you do that? How can you do that? That's the question that you need to ask. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is your energy level, is your motivation. And by that I mean you need to be in a mood, in a, for example, in a good state of mind that you're ready to learn English. And how can we change that? By our bodies. We can focus on our bodies and control our bodies. It's the simplest thing ever. The first thing that you need to do to get more motivated and energized is to sit up like this, shoulders back, chin up, and smile big. This way, your mentality, your mind becomes adjusted to your body and you feel better now. Imagine, for example, hunching like this and frowning like this. So you become naturally sad and your brain generates negative thoughts now. That's pretty natural because our brain follows our body, you know? And whenever we hunch or frown or become angry, our brains generate negative thoughts. And you say, oh my God, I had a problem this morning and life is boring and such thing. But as opposed to that, sit still like this. Sit up, smile, say yes, or even jump. Get up and walk and jump so that you get into the energetic um, state of mind. Your body's energetic and your mind becomes energetic too. And now you're ready to learn English. The second thing that you need to actually focus on is that I want you to work on the mentality of not making mistakes. This is really bad for your language learning. I want you to think of English as a tool to express your ideas and get connected to more people, socialize, get to know other people, not making mistakes. This is bad. You know, if you think about language, you know, if you think about English as, for example, being perfect, I'm here to tell you that there is no perfect. Even native speakers make a lot of mistakes, and that's why uh, it's not good to be focused on. Even as you, for example, are watching this video, think about your mother tongue. You know that you make mistakes in your mother tongue too. I make mistakes all the time. So why shouldn't we make mistakes in our second language, like English? Okay, so it's perfectly normal. So set a goal for yourself. Say, for example, I want to express my thoughts no matter what, even if I make 10 mistakes in for example, in this conversation, I'm just going to say my words and express my thoughts. That's all. Okay? Relieve yourself from all the pressure. What's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. The only thing that is really important in a conversation is the idea of understanding each other, making yourself understood. That's all. The other person doesn't care about your mistakes. He wants to understand you. He wants to get your ideas and talk with you. So if you obsess over grammar or vocabulary less, which word to use, which not to use, the other person gets bored because the conversation is not flowing. It's getting so slowly and slowlier. So I want you to focus on just communication and not perfection. I want you to say the things that are in your mind to the other person and don't care about mistakes. As you are watching this video, I'm actually making some mistakes. That's natural. But I'm talking and I'm trying to help you to make your mentality adjusted to the new method of language learning, and that is being positive toward it. It's not something to be ashamed of, it's not something to be afraid of. And we can do this with positive energy. So, what I'm going to tell you is that you need to first focus on your mentality and not fear English. Don't care about exams, scores, don't care about that teacher who corrects you in front of the classroom and everybody laughs at you. So from now on, whenever you want to practice English, start from your body, sit straight and sit up, smile, get energized. If necessary, stand up, walk a little bit, jump, shout, yes, and get into that mindset of being energetic and to that state of mind, and then start learning English. And also, I actually suggest you um, to not stand still and listen to English, because standing still or sitting still in one spot creates being motionless, and the fact that you don't move your body makes you bored and makes you enter the state of being unenergetic. So, if you want to stay in an energetic state of mind and body, I suggest you to walk and then listen to English and jump. Do the same thing over and over to get yourself energized when you think that your energy is dropping. In that case, you can uh, keep your motivation high, and by high motivation, by high energy, you will learn more, because the studies show that if your motivation is low, if your energy is low, you don't feel like it, learning cannot happen, and you learn less and less by having a low energy mode. but by increasing your energy, you become really open to new knowledge and new experiences, and you can learn them better and better. So I recommend you to actually, while listening to English or watching a video or practicing, memorizing something, I don't know, whatever you want to do, whatever the method is, just keep your motivation and energy high. Just walk, don't stand still, don't sit and just listen, because it becomes boring, and when we don't move our bodies, we lose our energy. So that's another recommendation that I have for you. And finally, subscribe the channel, because each week I'm going to talk about fluency more and more, and you become more familiar with my ideas about fluency and how I became fluent. So please subscribe and like this video, so that this video can be shown to other people, and other people can use it and become fluent and know what to do with English, because I'm here to change the negative mentality of language learning. Please subscribe and like this video. And until the next lesson and video, bye bye.